Hey YouTube, I have another sketchbook, and we're deviating from the norm of the going through middle school, take a break, and we are doing my most recent sketchbook that I just filled up, since all of these thoughts are still fresh in my head. I just filled this one, and I wanted to take a little break. As insightful as it is to see my sources and influences from middle school, it is getting a little boring and old looking at my shitty Hitalia fan art and Vocaloid drawings. So here in this book, I have some new shitty Hitalia art and Vocaloid drawings for you that I have a little bit more conceptual feelings about, because I have a degree now, and I'm allowed to talk about it. So, here we go. As you know, I like to hear from... I'm kidding. Anybody that watches Chris Hansen's podcast, you get that reference. As you know, I like to start all of my books with a nice piece on the first page. This wasn't necessarily a cohesive piece. These were just some color pencil studies of painter Joaquin Sorolla, who, for the life of me, I don't think I will ever successfully be able to do a little master study of. He paints these beautiful little boys in the beach, and his paint is so slippery and vibrant. Granted, I've never tried painting them in oil. I've done gouache, I've done acrylic, and now colored pencil. I think maybe if I do it in acrylic, not acrylic, in oil, that'll change, but I'll have to see. So yeah, I had a little minute where I was like really into colored pencils again. I love colored pencils. They're fun. I think about them like blocking in paint. And this teal is really fun. So yeah, and you'll notice these abstractions are becoming more something. And yeah, I had an internship at a gallery, and there was a lot of downtime where I was bored, and I was doodling a lot on sticky notes. And for some reason, I did these more than I did like drawings. I didn't really draw depictive things all that much. Oh, this was started in November of 2022, and I've aptly noted it as my last undergrad book. Yeah, it's kind of sad, isn't it? This is my last sketchbook of my student career, unless I go to grad school, but that's not going to be for a little bit. And who knows what my sketching practice will be like then. So here is the first page. Here's Kobeni. I like her a lot. I have a hard time drawing her, but I think this one's good. I like this one. It's cute. I like Kobeni. And I pre-ordered the Pop-Up Parade figurine of her, and I can't wait. I'll be sure to do an unboxing video whenever it arrives. I pre-ordered this months ago, and I don't think it's being released until November of this year or something like that, and that's okay. Here you'll notice Sayaka from Madoka Magica, and at some point in this book is when I decided to do the ongoing sketchbook saga of all of my sketchbooks, and it was because I was thinking a lot about these figures that influenced me. Not Kobeni specifically, but like anime as a concept. And yeah, these were some pending titles for my mid-year defense pieces. We've got, and they're all like file convention names, like PNG and JPEG. That was a nightmare. I should have never done this. My mid-year was really bad, and I don't want to talk about it. But yeah, there's Casper. I don't think he's shown up yet in the middle school books, but this is my middle school OC, or middle school, high school OC Casper. He's cool. I recently have been in a weird spot with my sketching practice. Granted, this is now a few months old. I just kind of draw a lot of naked people with no hair, bald naked people. Or I do observational drawings of the people around me. That is a classmate of mine. That is a classmate of mine. That is a classmate of mine. Or romantic pining. And other than that, it is fan art. But yeah, a lot of exercises in figuration as my practice in painting has, at least for the duration of my thesis explorations, become almost exclusively about portraiture. I wanted to make sure that I didn't lose sight of that part of my brain. I wanted to keep exercising my figurative skills. For better or for worse, there was a while where I didn't really do a lot of studying, figure studying, and towards the end of this book you're going to notice that these figures get kind of really weird and ugly. Namely, I think the head, the proportions of these aren't bad, they're kind of stiff and ugly, but the heads keep getting larger and larger as this book goes on, which I'm not a fan of. These were all drawings from the mid-year thesis defenses at my school. Some of them are drawings of people around me, here and here. Here's a friend of mine while he was presenting his, that's his arm. And then just scribbling figures. It's a drawing of me when I was a senior in high school, freshman in college era. Yeah, that was a time. And then we have Russia. This is my headcanon for his body, but I think he's even bigger actually, because of course he would be. And yeah, we have more figures, more of these scribbly doodads. Here are some notes. You can read them if you want. Yeah, Russia again. I think my obsession with him at this point had become parasocial, and it still is, but this is when it started getting really bad. Here's a figure referenced from an image. There was a reference for this one, but almost all of these are not have references, which I think is funny because if you recall my quarantine sketchbook video, one of the first pages in that is me saying, you need to draw more from imagination, you only draw from life. There's nothing fun happening. And so it's kind of weird because now I'm in the opposite boat where I want to do more stuff from observation, and I don't think I'll ever find that happy medium. Here, more romantic pining. I think this was also, I don't actually know if this was from an image or not. I think it was. Yes, it was. More of these that I did at my internship, which was paid, by the way, but not great paid. And then these are some studies of anime figures on the internet, which I think is a really fun way to do drawings of anime characters and have them be believable in anatomy and dimension. There's a lot of nice form that you can get from it. My friend drew these. He's like a printer. It's crazy. You can read this comic if you want, but I don't want to. So now, because this was during winter break, this set of stuff, yeah, that was all winter break. This is the beginning of the spring semester, my final semester. This was some thumbnails for the first painting that I made that semester, which I'll put here. It was a weird little experiment. I titled it Hot Dog Man, and he looks like a hot dog. My skin is made of hot dog. Some more figuration out of my head. You'll notice I'm starting to neglect drawing heads almost altogether, which is not good. Here's Russia again. Yeah, and there's going to be a lot of really intense note-taking coming up, and it might be funny to read some of them because if you don't if you haven't gone through a BFA program, you're not going to understand it, and it's going to sound like the same question over and over again, which it kind of is. Well, what do you want out of your last semester? What kind of conversations do you want to have? Where do you see yourself fitting in? I still don't really know the answers to those, but that's okay. Here's some more figures. I like this guy. I got those mild liners, those pastel highlighters. I like those, and they're really fun for drawing. Here's me crying, and the date is January 23rd, 2023. I think this was my first painting class of the semester, as it took place on a Wednesday. And here are some very brief notes that Mike, my professor, was saying. Have the confidence to both care and not care about what people say about your work. Take responsibility. Take care in the presentation of your work. And then I specifically asked, because my mid-year went so bad about people like accusing me of being a bad person, and he said, it's an issue of genre, there's a misunderstanding of source, and people are just assuming. What is the nature of your work? What is the atmosphere? Yeah. Here's my Killjoy OC. Again, because I've been going through my middle school books, or thinking about it. I'm not quite sure if it started yet, because I don't have my YouTube channel up in front of me right now. Yeah, here's some more figuration. That's my friend's shoe. There's Russia. This guy, I was taking a cartooning class, and there was a lot of... The first assignment was to make a character, but it was a visual arts class, so that didn't mean what you think it means, and it was more like conceptually, like, how does the way this character looks cue you into who they are as a person. And yeah, I used the shark as a signifier that he's trans, but he's like a hikikomori pooner. I've never said those two words together out loud. That sounded funny. Anyways, if you don't know what that means, good. Here's Casper again. Here's some drawings of my hands, people around me, and more of these. There's Madoka. These I did from reference, some figure studies. I very recently, like last week actually, went and did some live model drawing, which it felt really good to do that, because I have not done figure drawing in a very long time, and I missed it dearly. At least from life, I haven't done it. Yeah, I unfortunately did watch that Batman movie with Paul Dano, and that movie's really bad. It sucks. I don't like it, but I did like the Riddler, and I knew I would. That's why I put off watching it for so long, but there he is. Yeah, I'm not going to elaborate. Yeah, here's more of these. This is a thumbnail for this painting. I thought it was funny to talk about blueberry fetishes in a fine art setting, and what happens when you take blueberry fetish art and oil paint it. So yeah, here's some portraits of classmates and professor. This page fell out, which is really annoying. More drawing of classmates. I really liked this figure. It's really good, and I didn't have a reference for it. I think there was a point where I got really good with drawing figures from my imagination, but then it got bad again. So I don't feel like reading those notes, because they were relevant to a project specifically. Not that it wasn't. He was really nice at trying to apply this to my whole practice, but I also just don't feel like reading it. Here's more thumbnails. This past semester I tried to get back into the process of thumbnailing before I painted, so there's the painting. And then these were thumbnails for a body of work that never saw the light of day. It ended up turning into something else because I just kept sketching for it, and I just never actually painted it. So there's another one. You're going to see a bunch of these thumbnails. Here's Russia. Here's one of my high school OCs, Isaiah, which you'll meet him eventually. Some more figuration, some more hands. Here, see, this is what I was talking about. Yeah. Here, I was very proud of this because, as you probably notice if you watch these videos and also just look at my art, I don't like drawing and painting environments, and I'm really bad at it. I'm horrible at it. And I was just like sitting on the ground in a class, and I popped this out of my head. I didn't have a reference, and I just drew it out of my brain. And this is the room that hikikomori guy lives in. There's his shark, and he's got a drive poster. Here's some more this is my professor, and then this is one of my classmates. And she said to me, Carrie James Marshall is making history paintings. Carrie James Marshall is making history paintings, because I am a history painter, and I will not elaborate. Aesthetics of the work inform how we understand the work. These were from reference. This is also a really good figure drawing, but I did have a reference for this one. Yeah. And here's this again, another quote-unquote thumbnailing session, but this was the end of it. It never saw the light of day. And then here we have some more Madoka fan art. This is upside down because I was holding my book the wrong way in class for half of this page, but that's okay. Here are some of my classmates, all of my classmates in painting actually, and I was doing portraits of them while they were doing presentations. And then here's a self-portrait that I did while looking at my webcam, and it says, "His ass is listening to 21 Pilots because I was listening to 21 Pilots at the time." This was when I went to an alumni party in New York City. This is my ticket to the Met. I went to New York. I probably should have said that first. I went to New York. We did a spring break trip, and I won. There was a little like lottery raffle thingy that I won a free trip, so I didn't have to pay to go, which was really wonderful. It was such a delightful privilege. Here these were drawings on the bus on the way there. Yeah, just this page. These were drawings on the bus on the way there. And I wrote up here, "My work is imbued with personal nostalgia." I think this is when I really decided, like, not that my BFA was focused on this, but like it was a element of research that I started dipping my toes into. Here's a little comic I made about what happens when you're poor and you enter a space that rich people inhabit. They shoot you and then they cut you up and throw you away. Yes, and then these gray ones. I missed this marker. It died. It was a gray Tombow marker. I drew on the bus on the way back. I slept for most of that ride though. And then this is back. I liked this. These marks are nice. Here's more things and stuff. I was getting really depressed at this point because it didn't happen yet. We'll get there. But yeah, my mental health was declining because I was afraid of graduating, and I'm still alive after graduating, so I'm fine. But I had a particularly bad critique in my eyes. I don't think it was that bad in hindsight. Deconstruction of image is when I paint memes. The meme traces the lineage of your sources. The language is embedded in the work. Yeah, and then I said a bunch of mean things at the same time while I was taking these notes while people were talking at me. Primal urge to depict figures, ourselves. The meme speaks to needing to paint figures. Oblique subjectivity of everything. And then I said, "You can't do anything right. I hate you. You're stupid. I'm not smart. Frank, you're an idiot." Here's some really cool notes that I took. Imagination is purely human, reflection on experience conditioned by the world around us. It's a tool for self-reflection, prediction and mirror that tells us the truth. Mind is conditioned for the success of the being. Imagination leads to understanding. We assign personality to things. Mass media and culture industry, art became industrialized, leading to the collective experience of pop culture. Contemporary personalized experience. The only collective experiences is the interface. And there's a lot more, but yeah, that's a lot of dense stuff to unpack, but I think it's really insightful. And then there's Zizek and the Kurova milk bar. I liked this drawing. This is a nice drawing. This is Vent art. I only ever make comics if it's Vent art, if you haven't noticed. Here's a fabric study that was kind of mid, and that oh so lovable face. Here's a thumbnail for the last painting that I made in my senior studio, which here it is. And it made it into my BFA. It was a self-portrait, and it acted in a similar way to how the memes, like my oil painted memes, acted as a bridge to contextualize the images as being on the internet. The self-portrait acted as a key to understanding that I am just as much a part of the community that I'm depicting as, yeah, I'm like part of it. I'm not just an outsider. Here's Russia again. And here's, you're probably noticing now, like the figures are getting weird. Yeah, so, yeah, this is, this was the Monday after my cat died on Friday. And I know that because here's the list I made. I don't make lists, but my friend suggested I make a list of things to do because I was overwhelmed and a little freaking out that morning. Buy foam for frames, finish frames, framework, finish panels, mock BFA, title show, submit print job. That was all that I had left to do, other than the BFA defense itself. And then I was sitting in someone else's mock BFA that day because those took place over a few weeks, and I drew this, me hugging her. And then this is when the mental health decline got really bad. But here I said, you need to do more figure studies, you suck at drawing. And I repeatedly wrote that in this book, and I didn't do it until last week. So then here's some more drawings. Classmate, professor, out of my head, classmate. This is from a show that I got to curate. I read this in a video a long time ago, in December. And then here I'm drawing, I think the reason the heads have gotten so big is because I'm kind of returning to an anime style a little bit. Because on these it looks normal, and I think I'm getting good at drawing anime now. Yeah, these were really good. I was really proud of these, and I popped these out of my head. I wasn't looking at a reference because I was in class. I really like this spread actually as a whole. And then here's some notes I took that I think are really great. So my humor is dry, awkward, self-referential, and self-depreciating. And people would always ask if my work was political, and then you get scared about the word political. But political really just means something you believe in. It's not like politics in the same way, like elephants and donkeys and bald dudes. So my definition of political is a power exchange between people. An advocation for something. I'm advocating for weird guys online because we're all weird guys to a degree. Enough said. And then I was worried about the male toxicity stuff, so on and so forth. And then only one person in my class was like, yeah, your work has quote-unquote incel energy. And then I proved her wrong. And it was great. They aren't incels, and she said they were incels because they were fat. And I was like, that is not nice to fat people. I'm painting them because I think they look good. Anyways, here's a classmate of mine, portrait of her. Here's another classmate of mine, and another one. Here's a note from my dear friend Jordy. Hi Frank, this is Jordy. This is the last class where I can write hello. So, hello, smiley face. April 24th, 2023. This was during Big Crit, which is something very specific to my school, but yeah. And then I did a lot of observational drawings of people. This page is nice. I think I really honed in on my portraiture here. And then more, again, these heads have gotten so freaking big. That's unacceptable. It's from observation. I like these legs. Good perspective. Classmate of mine, my hands. These were the stickers that were on my wall in my studio. And this is the exact orientation in which they were on the wall, and I aptly noted it. Some of these guys are incels, but that's not what the work is about. It's about awkwardness in online communities and masculinity, or lack thereof, I should say, but I didn't write that. Classmate of mine. Yeah, some drawings. This whole thing is drawings, I don't know what I'm saying. Yeah, you can tell. This was the first day of BFA week. You have nothing to live for after this. Dead cat, school ending, car not working, nothing to live for. I was going through it, and I was so worried that my BFA was going to go badly. Here's some more drawings from that, the BFAs. Here's a classmate of mine presenting hers. We got to use a microphone, which was really funny. Yeah. This was day 2. Some more stuff from observation. And also from my brain. I think my observation skills at this point, my observation skills are good. My imagination skills are not. Except this one for some reason. This was really good. This was my buddy Ryan, as he was presenting his BFA. I just drew his portrait in pencil. Yeah. And then this was Thursday, the day before mine. And this was when this gray marker that I loved so much died. Or almost died. It died. Yeah, here's a portrait of her in her BFA. Here's some more portraits. Mike shows up in here a lot. That's just because my proximity to him was always drawable within drawing view. I don't know. Another person. And this was the last day of BFAs. I was so nervous I could hardly focus. This was it. This was all I drew that day. And it was first thing in the morning. And I was so scared. And then it went fine. It went so fine. It went, dare I say, better than fine. And then I graduated. And then I did some much needed gesture drawings and figure studies. These were from images, not from life, but I felt that a session was needed, even if it were short. This was a thumbnail for this painting, my first painting post-grad. And so far, I've been really good about doing one painting a week, because my biggest fear for as long as I can remember is that I graduate and never paint again, which is not something I ever want to happen. So I was very strict. The week after I graduated, I had to paint. And I've been painting at least one thing a week, if not more, since then, and I'm very proud of myself for that. And this is when things started getting a little better for me. Here's another thumbnail for this painting. I'm gonna have to edit so much stuff into this video. Ay caramba, that's okay though. Here's me using graphite, because I hate drawing with graphite a lot, because I can never build like really good values with it. But I thought this came out pretty good. I was pretty happy with that. Thumbnail again. Like I said, I've really, especially lately, I've been trying really hard to get back into thumbnailing. Here it is, the painting. And then I started teaching pre-college classes, and that's where a lot of these doodles are from. This was one of my students. Here's another thumbnail for this painting. Yes, it is John Wayne Gacy. I've been meditating on doing a painting of him for a while, but it wasn't going to originally be of this image. It was going to be of an image of him in his funny makeup, which I'll still probably do. There's this one really beautiful image of it that I found online, and I think there's something really interesting about what happens when you paint bad people well. I don't know. And I don't know if I want to like do anything public with it other than just post them on my Instagram, but whatever. You would think that this is a thumbnail, but it's not. I've also been getting back into watercolor. At this point, these drawings are about 3 weeks old. This is not. I'll probably paint this at some point. It's a dead body. And then these were just some weird like lighting studies that didn't work very well. And then this is the last page of just some really quick portrait exercises, I guess. And that's it. This is my most recent sketchbook, post-grad. Last sketchbook during my undergraduate degree. Yeah, I'm really sad that it's over. I wish I could be in college forever. It's kind of sad that I'm not anymore, but I'm doing everything that I can to stay involved with my community, and I am creating. I'm never gonna stop creating. You will never catch me lacking, as they say. So that's it. Remember to smash that like button, hit the bell icon, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.